And we kick off with the front page of the Sunday Times and Rishi Sunak's decision to skip Cop27. Well, Steve, you might be regretting his decision now.
Certainly Alok Sharma doesn't like it, and he, of Cop26 fame, did a little bit of crying. That's how much he was trying to sort out sea levels. I'm not sure if that would have helped.
He actually cried.
Well, it says, I Googled it to try and see the video again, it said held back tears, which I know is not technically crying, but it ruined the joke about crying, so I put it in anyway. But, you know, he welled up, which is enough, isn't it? But he's upset that Rishi's not going, making the argument that other countries have Conservative parties that have lost some ground because, look, it starts to look like they don't care about the environment. I'm not sure we have that particular situation, that playing field here. Also, if he wants to try and earn that ground back, the bringing back in the moratorium on fracking kind of covers that. Rishi's saying he's busy sorting out some stuff. I really don't know whether this makes a difference, Rishi going or not to COP27. I mean, it's going to go ahead. The talking points will still be in the newspapers. People will still be making the same point. Oh, you're flying to talk about climate. And we all pretend that we don't know the maths. Like, oh, if you take a flight and you talk two people out of getting a flight, you've covered it. But let's pretend we don't know that, because I guarantee you when it's on, you'll be doing it.
Yeah, we get caught up in the trivial aspect of these stories, don't we? And we're not looking at the bigger picture.
The flights that those people would have been taking would have been useful flights, productive flights, you know, perhaps going to a business meeting, generating something for the economy, whereas going to a climate change conference to convince people not to take flights, that's an inherently unproductive. You're just sucking value out of the economy.
If Leonardo DiCaprio talks at least, what's the name of it, the Nespresso one? George Clooney. And one other celeb out of flying. Look at that. Bosh. Already you've made profit.
Yeah, but none of them.
Emma Thompson, George Clooney staying at home.
None of them are going to move into a bed sit and travel by bicycle everywhere. These elites, it's always for the little guy. Or me.
But yeah, the idea of... we're doing it now. The argument about flying to a place to talk about climate. If there's no other way of getting there...
Zoom. There's Zoom calls. We just had 2 years of Zoom calls. We can't do them now for climate change conferences?
I thought Jacob Rees-Mogg said it was a terrible way of working. We might need to pick a side of the fence on that issue all of a sudden. But back to this one. Yeah, Boris is going, Rishi's not going. I don't know if this is actually going to make a blind bit of difference, to be fair.
Could this be an own goal by Rishi Sunak if he's upstaged by the former Prime Minister? Because Boris is going to go there and he's going to look prime ministerial, isn't he?
Well, is he? I mean, he didn't look prime ministerial when he was Prime Minister. So, yeah, we'll see about that. But, yeah, I don't think this is going to be big potatoes for Rishi Sunak. I think, you know, the people who care about this kind of thing probably weren't going to vote Conservative in the first place. Yeah. And also we're seeing some of the benefits of global warming, climate change coming through now. We're having an incredibly nice October, and as well as, you know, being out in a T-shirt today, I've also noticed that we're using less fossil fuels. We're using less oil and gas. So that's helping us with the energy crisis, and it's also helping us defeat Russia.
Is this decision to cop out of COP27 by Rishi Sunak, is this him saying bollocks to the green agenda?
I hope so. And I wish he'd undo his ban on fracking. So he's reintroduced the ban on fracking, and it just doesn't make any sense. We've got gas under our ground, and we can get it out safely and, you know, reasonably easily, and become more energy independent. I know it's sold on a market, but you know, when push comes to shove, you know, if we really come to crunch times, you know, the market will disappear. So we'll have energy security, and also, you know, it'll generate revenue for the UK just when we need it.
Yes, indeed. The highlight of that conversation was quite an insight into George Clooney's career. Forget about his performances in Three Kings, Gravity or Up in the Air. According to Steve N. Allen, he's the Nespresso one.
That Up in the Air thing, he was on too many planes. That's exactly the point. You get him to land...
And it was very, very triggering for Steve N. Allen. My apologies to George Clooney, who I happen to know watches the show.